episode of Moments with Dr. I, the program brought to you with objectives on academic excellence, youth leadership, and career orientation. I am your host, Shay Leonada, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about career orientation. I have with me here our guest, Dr. Teofil. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Leonardo.
I'm happy to see you again, Doctor.
It's a pleasure to be here once more.
Okay, guys, and today we'll be talking on career orientation. We'll be diving deep into the subject of what career orientation is all about, why is it important to have a career orientation, and also we'll be talking on many more things. And our dear listeners would love you to join us in this discussion by dropping your comments on our social media platform, that is 650 45 81 33. I repeat, 650 45 81 33. Without further ado, Doctor, you are welcome once again.
Thank you very much, Leonardo.
So, Doctor, please tell us, what is career orientation?
So, career orientation is a broad and a vast topic. It's a topic that passionates me, and I'm very interested when it has to do with that topic. It is a segment of an even wider concept that you've probably learned as discovering your purpose. I'm sure if you're listening to me right now, somebody has once told you that, don't you know your purpose? You should know your purpose. If the person has told you that, then send a text message to the person that I'm hearing your voice now through the radio. So that's a subset of purpose discovery. Now, career orientation in English definition, or let me say in common sense definition, is about helping people to navigate the maze of career choices. That means in the world where there are so many careers, there are so many routes that you can take to get to those careers, and even on the same routes there are many vehicles you can use to get to those careers. Helping somebody navigate the complexity of this situation is what is called career orientation. And so what that means is that it is not something that happens only once. Somebody should receive career orientation every moment in his or her life, because the more you grow, the more you discover yourself. The more you discover yourself, the more you discover certain abilities within you. And this discovery has the potential of affecting your choice as far as career is concerned. That's the reason why career orientation should not be a once in a lifetime happening, but it should be a process that accompanies one on that journey throughout a lifetime. So career orientation is about helping people navigate the complexity of making a choice as far as career is concerned. Now, permit me to digress a little bit in the definition of a career.
Okay.
Orientation is easy, everybody gets that. It's about giving direction. But what's a career that you're supposed to give somebody direction as far as that is concerned? I mean, everybody knows that you can be a doctor, you can be an engineer, you can be a banker, you can be so and so, But I think that many times when people miss it as far as career orientation is concerned, it's largely because they have misunderstood what a career is about.
Right.
A career in the Latin is the word carus, Charrus, carus. And carus means chariot. So a career in modern English comes from the Latin root word carus, which means chariot. And so if you are to transliterate that meaning, you will come to the conclusion, like me, that a career is only but a vehicle taking you to somewhere.
Okay.
So the most important thing that this brings to the mind and to the table is that if you are to have a good direction as far as career is concerned, you need to know where you are going to start with. And where you are going to has been locked up inside you. It's like a compass that directs you from within, and that responds to external codifications in such a way that you can always direct yourself around and find yourself in the place that was made for you, like a fish in water, like a bird in the air, like a frog both in water and on land. Everybody has his element. This is a book written by Pat Robertson, and he says the title of the book is The Element, and he uses the entire 300 to 400 pages of that book to explain how one can discover his element, his place of belonging, his place where his passion potentials thrive and meet the needs of the society in such a way that he experiences success and fulfillment, because what he does is making a difference in the world. And so, all of these things that I've just explained is to boil down to the fact that a career is only a vehicle to get to your destination. Your destination here being purpose. That's why I said career orientation is a subset of purpose discovery. So everyone that is born of a woman has a purpose, has a reason that his inventor decided before sending him. It's just like the people who designed ChatGPT intentionally designed it to accomplish the things that ChatGPT is accomplishing. The person who designed the computer was looking for a kind of device that will do the things that the computer is doing. The person who designed an electric bulb, Thomas Edison, in fact, he knew what he wanted so much so that when he tried to convert chemical energy and electrical energy into light, he tried so many times and he failed, that he continued, because what he wanted was converting chemical and electrical energy to light. And so he invented what you call the electric bulb. Most of us today don't even think of that as a discovery, but that time, my God, the guy be don't blow. And so the 1001 time that he discovered, he stopped attempting because he got what he wanted. In the same way, when God designed us, the fact that we are here already is a sign that God had already determined in advance what our existence on earth will make a difference for, and how it is going to transform the earth. That would be your purpose, your usefulness, your importance. We'll have subsequently a lot of time to discuss around this subject, but I'm trying to make you understand that your purpose, what other people call destiny, some people call your vision for your life, or call your dream, your life's dream, that is your destination. And the career that you choose is only a vehicle to get to that destination. Career orientation is about telling the driver of the vehicle that is you the right road to take and the right vehicle to take, so that you can arrive at your destination. Because you have one destination, but to get to that destination, there are several possible roads. And you have the opportunity of having several possible vehicles on that journey. There are several possible roads for many people. You have the opportunity to choose only one road. And that road can be modified somewhere along the line, but it still remains one road at the end of the track. But you can use many vehicles to get there. And so I'll start by debunking the notion that one can only have one career in his lifetime. Anybody who pursues purpose sincerely and desires greatness or global impact will never use only one career to achieve that. At a point in time, you are going to be a nurse, maybe working in a hospital, and from that nurse you are now promoted to major. Major is a matron, is somebody who supervises other nurses and does a lot of administrative duties in the hospital. Before you know it, because of the nurse's work, you are being appointed to now work in the ministry, where everything you are doing now is just paperwork and supervision and training people. You are no longer injecting people here and there. These are changes in career, but these changes in career are necessary for this person to achieve his purpose. So when we get into examples, you are going to see that even more clearly. So that's, forgive the length, but I hope it gives you understanding and perspective as to what career orientation is really about.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. So, Doctor, tell us, why is it important to have a career orientation?
So, like I said a moment ago, and that's a very pertinent question. As I said a moment ago, every one of us has one destiny, one purpose, and it can be achieved. Mind you, it can be achieved. And we have one road that we need to get there. And now the tweak is that you will not know all the road from the beginning. You will not know all the road that you need to take to get there. No, you will only know to a certain measure. When you get there, you know to a certain measure. I think Miles Monroe defined purpose as something that you are moving on a certain road and you have a torchlight. The more you move, it was John Maxwell. The more you move ahead, the more the road becomes clearer.
Okay.
So each and every one of us has one road track that can be completely mapped at the end of our lives. But we would have to make choices incrementally, step by step, from one level to another. And so each level and nature of the road demands different kinds of vehicles. But you can choose that road and get to that destination. Now, career orientation is that thing that helps you to know the right road you should choose and the right vehicle you should choose at every point in time.
Okay.
Let's say, for example, let's say you want to leave from Yaoundé and go to, um, let's say you want to leave from Yaoundé, yes, and go to Nigeria. You can take a road, you can travel by road to get from Yaoundé to Nigeria. That means through the borders. That means you go the train, you take to Ngaoundere. From Ngaoundere, you now take a car that transports you across the frontier. And then when you are there, you can now take another car to get where you are getting to. That's transport by land. You can also take a bus that leads you to Douala Seaport and take the boat that will take you to probably Lagos Island. You're already in Nigeria, but you travel principally by boat because the length of the journey in boat is more than the one by land. Or you can simply take a flight from Yaoundé at Simalem and you land at Abuja, the airport, where you find yourself in Nigeria. These are different routes and these are different vehicles that you use to reach your destination. So many people may want to travel to Nigeria, but the roads that they are supposed to use, that is designed for them, is not the same. It's not the same. And so helping people to know the kind of transport means, I'm talking about the vehicle here, that's a career, and helping people to know what road they should choose will make a whole difference in whether their life will achieve purpose or not. It will make a whole difference in whether at the end of their lives they live with regrets or they live with a sense of joy and accomplishment, knowing that their lives have been worth it or that their lives have made a difference. And the greater the difference their lives make, the greater the fulfillment, the greater the joy. So without career orientation, you can't discover purpose. Without discovering purpose, you can't get there. If you don't get to where purpose has been defined for you, I tell you, you are going to be the most frustrated being on earth. And ask yourself the question, those who commit suicide, what is usually the question they ask? Leonardo, what do you think? What is usually the question those who commit suicide, they ask before committing suicide?
Like they are not satisfied with their life.
They are not satisfied with their life. Why should we even live? What is the value of life? Somebody who is pursuing purpose and who knows that his life is going to accomplish something great and valuable, no matter where he finds himself, no matter the mess where he finds himself, and he's convinced of what his life was designed to accomplish and takes that journey, will never ask himself what's the value of life. People who ask that question are confessing indirectly and without knowing that they have lost a sense of purpose. And that's the reason why, like I said, everybody goes through life. People go through challenges. Career orientation has to be done all throughout.
Okay.
And that's the reason why you need to have people accompany you throughout this journey. You need to have mentors. You need to have guides. There are several examples of this. And the system is designed in such a way that will guarantee that outcome. That's the reason why each and every one of us is born in a household. We have parents who guide us, and after the parents, now you have a school where teachers and career counselors guide you. And while in school, you have friends and you have seniors in school that can shape your view of life and how you can navigate your path towards destiny. Before you know it, as you are progressing, you get married. The person you will get married to will determine whether you get there or not. And so all our lives now becomes shaped by an internal compass that God has defined, helped by external circumstances, helped by human beings to get to our desired destination, which is our destiny.
All right, doctor. And there's also this one aspect that I want you to clarify, because in this context, we are in Africa. yes, a lot of people don't believe about much about living for a purpose. People believe in earning a living. Yes, so that dream, because I once listened to Miles Monroe and he said something like the dream, what you had as a dream as who to become when you were still small, that is who you were born to be. Yes, but when you are growing up, you now see that no, if I want to do this, considering the circumstances, you have to do. Sometimes the parents will be, or your influence tend to tell that no, it is this that you can do to earn a living. You cannot become something by.
That's a very brilliant question, and I'm sure you are talking for the minds of all our auditors out there. And this is why I remind you from the very onset, understanding that a career is only but a vehicle that you can change at any point in time. The same way you who is listening to me right now, you took a bike along the day probably, and probably took a taxi also along the day, or maybe even yesterday. You changed transport means. That can happen to each and every one of us. In fact, we should stop making a career, a job, a certain work our livelihood.
Okay.
Because our lives are in stages, they are in steps. And the higher you go, the different the way you will have to enter that kind of area. You know. And I understand this question particularly because I have my parents and I love them, I respect them so much. But it so happened to me that the age of my parents, their generation, had always made a comment, and I'm sure you who is listening to me right now, you can relate. If you can relate, just send a message to the podcast right now. That in life, particularly in this Cameroon, you do what you find available. You don't do what you want, you know. And that thought had a tremendous impact on some of my siblings as an individual. I was stubborn back at the time. I didn't know much, but I was guided by this inner light that told me that I will get what I want. And which is what I'm living right now. I'm a medical doctor and I dreamt of it ever since I was small, just like you were talking about.
Okay.
But I can also say that I have classmates that made a little detour before getting into medicine. That's why I said that career orientation is a lifetime thing. Somebody who wants to build a career in medicine, and this person is convinced that his life is about healthcare, the first thing you have to determine is what is the person's vision.
Okay.
What is the person's vision? Now, the vision is healthcare for all. That's the destination. If you are listening to me right now, I'll ask you to do a little exercise for me. Just close your eyes for a moment. Just close your eyes for a moment. Okay. Now open the eyes back. What is it that you saw immediately afterwards? Leonardo, what was it you saw immediately afterwards?
Darkness.
When you opened your eyes?
Light.
Light. She saw light. Other people could see different things. Somebody said a laptop. Another person says he saw her phone because the person is listening to this podcast.
Okay.
Another person says different stuff. But I want you to notice one thing that's common among all the answers is that everybody said other things apart from themselves.
Okay.
So the vision that you have for your life, the purpose that your life has been given to by God was not about you. It's about what is in the community that can be improved because of your presence. That's the vision. When you see, the first thing you see is not yourself.
Okay.
It's something that is in front of you. And so if God wants you to fix a broken society, that's what He will bring to your sight. And when you see that, and in your mind crystallizes the image of a better society, that becomes your vision, that becomes your destination. Now that destination could be healthcare for all.
Okay.
Career orientation will help you to know which road you will take to get to healthcare for all. For example, the destination is healthcare for all. There are different routes to get to healthcare for all. You can be in the field and the Department of Health. You can be in the field and the Department of Administration. You can be in the field of business. You can be in the field of education. The different spheres of influence.
Yeah.
The 7 spheres of influence. We'll have some time to talk about that at another opportunity. And so you have to determine whether that passion for healthcare is going to be achieved by you following the path of an administrator. In this case, you rather fight to enter ENAM and become a health administrator and be promoted as the Minister of Public Health. I hope you know that Dr. Manauda Malashi is not a medical doctor, but he's a doctor.
Okay.
Because he studied in ENAM and he's learned administration of healthcare. Because of him, many people are receiving healthcare in Cameroon today. His vision was health, but the path he took was not becoming a nurse or a doctor. He could as well take another path, that is the path of business, saying that, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to become a businessman, and I'm going to be into the business of providing medical supply, providing good quality drugs in Cameroon. That's making drugs in Cameroon and selling to Cameroonians, not importing drugs and wasting money and selling at a high cost. But if I made it locally and sold it to Cameroonians, high quality, it will be cheaper for them. You are solving the problem of healthcare without being a health personnel. Or you could take the path of teaching and say, no, I'm going to learn physiology in the university, and when I graduate, I'm going to specialize myself to the point that I will be teaching but those who are doctors in training, or nurses in training, or health personnel in training. That's another path you can take to get to that destination of health for all.
Okay.
Now, if you assume that you are taking the path of administration, there are many different vehicles you can use on that path to get to health for all. Number one, you can choose to become a health administrator, going through ENAM. Number two, you can decide to become a public health specialist. You go and study public health at the University of Buea. When you graduate and you have a master's and probably even a PhD, you can be recruited to lead organizations like United Nations, NGOs and stuff like that that make a real difference in the health of Cameroonians. These are two different vehicles in the path of administration. If you take the path of teaching, you can decide to be the one that teaches doctors, the one that teaches nurses, the one that even teaches physiotherapists. Or you can become a personal wellness coach, a health and wellness coach. You become an author. You write books about healthcare for people. You can become a coach for people who want to lose weight, a coach for people who want to manage their diabetes better without spending much, and you do training sessions for people over and over again. That is still in the educational sphere, but it's different from lecturing in the university.
Okay.
You can also choose a part of business and say, okay, my line of business is that I'm going to be a pharmaceutical guru, that I'm going to open a pharmaceutical company in Cameroon and produce drugs. You can say that, okay, I'm going to sell hospital equipment. You can say that, no, I will not even sell hospital equipment. I will do real estate.
Yeah.
And while you are doing real estate, you are sending chunks of money to hospitals to sponsor them, to orphanages, to different community places where people can afford health at a lower cost because of you.
Okay.
So these are different vehicles. I didn't talk about the path of health because, we all know doctors, nurses, lab technicians, and so on and so forth. And so knowing how to navigate the vehicle and the path to get to your destination of purpose, the vision for your life, is important. That is career orientation. And so coming back to your question, I'm sorry I had to be this long. I needed to give this foundational understanding. Coming back to your question as to what parents think. Your parents love you. Your parents give you the best that they had. A lot of what they know is what they transmit to you. And what they know is a reflection of the experiences they have had. Somebody who has tried business 100 times and has failed can tell you that in this life now, just find a job and be comfortable.
Yeah.
Just look for magical. If you are magical, sava. But it doesn't mean that business may not be the way for you. In fact, if you want to be wealthy, the only way is business. Nobody becomes wealthy in this world without doing business.
Okay.
And so you have to be able to navigate yourself through that path. And you can take different paths as well to get to your desired destination. If you realized, for example, that you are on the road, you don't even have a vehicle yet, and this becomes interesting, and you are taking the road where you are going to go and meet the vehicle of medical doctor, to take that vehicle to pass through the road of healthcare and get to the destination, which is health for all. And then you want to enter that bus and they say the bus is full. What do you do? And you really want to get there, what do?
You check for another vehicle.
You check for another vehicle. Now so you might linger around that time. Maybe that's a year that you have gone to Waikele and you have done 1 year, you have studied biochemistry, something related to medicine. When your biochemistry year one is finished, you go back to write the concours to enter medical school. That means you go back to try to enter that same vehicle so that it can lead you to the destination through the path you know is your own.
Yeah.
And let's even take the consideration. That means I have classmates who wrote the concours 3 times is the third time that they passed, and today we are doctors together. Imagine that they told themselves that you only do what you have available, you know. And even like that, because the ultimate importance is your destination, you might realize that sometimes certain opportunities get blocked for others to open. For example, you have gone to the bus agency, the bus has closed, and there's lockdown in a city like Bamenda, and buses are no longer going. That was the last bus that you could take. And you realize that, okay, in order for me to get to Yaoundé, I have to take the risk of climbing on a personal vehicle and travel through the ghost town. Or maybe I'm going to take a flight. Let's say Bafut Airport was functional. Take a flight from Bafut Airport to get to Yaoundé. You might have used a different vehicle and a different roadmap, but your destination can still be achieved. And so there are many people who and oh my goodness, this session is so interesting. I'm going ahead of myself many times. I have a problem many times with people who claim, let me not use claim, it might sound harsh, who profess to give guidance to young people, and they are just interested in making their money. And once they have made their money, because they were teaching you during prep classes and you did not make it to the concours, that's all. Their career orientation got finished, But like I said, it's a lifetime something. That kind of a person might rather need to learn or to hear instead that it's true. The bus that was going to Yaoundé has gone, and there are no longer buses because it's ghost town, and buses will only start going back after 1 month time. And you need to be Yaoundé now. What can you do? Take a private car and get to Yaoundé. And that private car might mean you doing nursing instead of medicine. It might mean you becoming a physiotherapist instead of doing medical practice.
Okay.
I will tell you the truth. I will tell you the truth that I have classmates who are doctors who are going into business. Because like I told you, your vehicle can change anywhere along the path depending on where God has designed you to get to. And this thing is designed in such a way that you will not know everything from the onset.
Yeah.
You will only discover as you are going. And so the passion that is in your heart, don't confuse that passion for a vehicle. You should either identify that passion as for a destination. That's how you answer the question of what are you passionate about. You are not passionate about becoming a medical doctor. No, you are passionate about providing help for everybody. And so you can do that by doing clinical psychology, which is not a medical practice. You can go to university and start studying psychology. There's a psychologist that I respect so much in Canada. His name is Jordan Peterson. He influences the world on a massive scale. In fact, he has created his own university and he has over tens of millions of students, an online university. Because his psychology is sound, is wholesome, it touches every aspect of life. You cannot listen to him and something about you doesn't get transformed. Imagine he said, I wanted to become a surgeon. Many people would have missed out on that. And if along the line he discovered that his true calling was to become a surgeon, he will now have to change. Imagine the years that have been lost. So we will have another session. I am hopeful, Yonada, right?
Yes, Doctor.
We'll have another session to discuss long and wide about the subject of career orientation and get into the practicalities. How do you make a choice?
Okay.
And we will even give a practical example. But I'm so grateful for your attention right now. Thank you so much for all those who listen to us. Please, if you are listening to us right now, send a message to all your fellow mates that they should join you next time, either online or on site, for another interesting time in Moments with Dr. I.
All right. Thank you very much, Doctor, and our dear listeners. Thank you so much also for this wonderful time. Before we go, I would love to give a few announcements. By now, if you are in secondary school or in the high school, you probably have seen members of Dr. I come to your school and distribute equipment on academic excellence. So I want to also announce the upcoming career orientation conference, which will be taking place on Sunday, the 13th of April 2025 at Blue Pearl Hotel at exactly 2 p.m.
This Sunday?
Yes. So if you are a student, We want to see you there. If you are confused about your career, this program is for you. Also, I want to announce about the upcoming career and leadership training that is starting next week for youth from age 18 to 25. This is not just for students. Whether you are an apprentice, a staying home young person, this program is for you and you shouldn't miss out. And for more details, contact 650 45 81 33. Thank you. We love you. Bye.
You can as well check our social media pages. And Leonardo, we have a Facebook page.
Yes, and we also have our YouTube page for a rebroadcast of the program.